Hey there, it's me, Stephen Thomas, with Reports on Housing, with yet another housing debrief. Thank you for joining us. I'd like everyone to tap the like button. Tap, get it? It's pretty funny. This week we're going to be talking about the Airbnb bust to crash housing. Is it really going to crash the housing market? I have a full disclosure to everyone. I don't own a vacation rental. Even if a bust happened, we would finally get some much needed inventory. So I wouldn't want a whole bunch of Airbnb and VRBO and vacation rental owners to lose their shirts. But even if they're all to come onto the market, we'd finally get some inventory, which would bring a better balance to the overall market and would stop the insanity. But that's my full disclosure before we go into the Airbnb bust to crash housing. Is that really true? So it was generated from an article that came out, and it was based upon what Robert Kiyosaki said. He is the author of Rich Dad Poor Dad, and basically he said the Airbnb is to lead the real estate market crash. And he issues a dire warning, but says crash is the best time to get rich. Here's the biggest bargains he sees now, and this whole thing goes into that. But basically, he's said that the 2008 crash made me a billionaire. Now the 2023 crash will make me even more rich. So let's get into kind of where this comes from. And I'm going to be utilizing some statistics from and some charts that were available from AirDNA. And AirDNA really does a fantastic job. They have some incredible economists that are actually tracking vacation rentals. So, and if you see this AirDNA, this is the short-term rental supply hits record levels in 2022. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is this is what everybody's talking about. That there are so many brand new Airbnb owners that there are so many that they're going to start to lose their shirts. That when you have a saturation of too many vacation rentals, that not everyone's going to be able to rent out their rooms, and there will be losses, and people will lose their shirts. Now, there are definite examples of people that have not had success with Airbnbs, and those are the ones that pretty much they trickle up to the top. That everybody hears about them on Twitter. They're interviewed for articles and things like that. But just because a few of them aren't making it, does that mean that the vast majority aren't doing it? Well, we need to dig a little deeper. And part of this whole crash thesis, it's been around for not just 1 year, but several years now, this Airbnb bust that we're supposed to have. And there's a fall in Airbnb listing revenues sparks housing market crash fears. And this is an article that came out with Newsweek. They actually did talk to AirDNA, but they brought up some other statistics and other people that track the market. And there is supposedly supposed to be this major drop in revenue per available listing. And when you start looking at the numbers that are down across the country, you'll see that there's some areas like in Tennessee, Phoenix, Arizona, Austin, Texas, Myrtle Beach that are down like more than 46%, and that's the drop in revenue per available listing. They call that it's called RPAL. Had to look up all these different terms to figure out exactly what they were referring to, but the revenue per available listing was supposed to drop. It's supposed to, in comparison to 1 year ago, was supposed to be a ginormous drop. Now there was a drop in revenue, and AirDNA has showed it now that I can't even pronounce I think it's Sayreville, Tennessee. They did have a 9.4% drop in how much revenue they're making per available listing. Part of that has to go with the various expenses that they're bearing, but you can see across the board that mainly it's down anywhere between that 15%, that's I believe that's New Orleans, Louisiana, all the way up to 11.5% positive. in Salisbury, Maryland. And that's the thing. This Airbnb collapse, it's from all the rooms, and all the rooms doesn't have the fancy economists and the people that are really tracking every Airbnb and every VRBO listing. They know that there are sometimes vacation rentals where they're only renting them out for like a month or a weekend or a few weeks out of the year. That's it. And some are just doing rooms. How about the full people that are really doing the vacation rentals, where it's the full Monty, where you get to rent out a whole house or a whole town home, that type of thing. So they really know the differentiation between the various categories at AirDNA. And you can see that the average occupancy rate across the United States really hit a high in 2021 and started to come down a little bit in 2022. And then in 2023, it came down even more. Part of that has to do with COVID, because if you remember in 2021, a lot of people wanted to still vacation, but there was still COVID. So the best way to do that is go into a house that there's nobody around. You're not among a lot of people at a hotel. So that's why that there was a little bit of an uptick there. But if you look at where occupancy is compared to where we were in 2019 and 2020, of course, that was the initial COVID year, but compared to 2019, it's still up quite a bit from where we were even prior to COVID. So that's something that you have to understand, that there's still a high occupancy rate, even though we have a quote saturation of a lot more vacation rentals that are out there. And this is the occupancy. If you look at it, it's tracked over time. This is also AirDNA does this. And you can see that right now it's below 2022 numbers. 2021 was a height, but you can see where 2019 is right below it. So it's between 2022 and 2019 is where we've been hanging out this year in 2023. So I find that all these statistics and everything fascinating. And why? Because this will drive it home even better. And AirDNA actually shows you what the revenue per available room, that's revenue per available room, the percent change. And you can see that in 2021 it was way up, and then in 2022 was only up slightly, and in 2023, yes, there because of this quote saturation, that you're getting a little bit less rent per, or you're getting a little bit less revenue per room that you're trying to rent out. So not doing as well as last year, but still, this is not a catastrophic change where you're going to see a major implosion of the marketplace. And Airbnb bookings through 2022, you can see that the number of bookings are actually up. So there were fewer vacation rentals in 2021, and there were some vacation rentals that they didn't even want people in their properties. So when you have less supply and then you have a whole bunch of people that want to rent out, that's why in 2021 occupancy was way up. Revenues were way up because you could get away with it when there are fewer. But now we're into 2022, and you could see that, yes, that the Airbnb bookings are actually up compared to where they were the last several years. This is an all-time high in 2022. And this is also another interesting thing, just a recent AirDNA report of July demand. And you could see that July demand, that purple line, is way up compared to all other years. So it's you can see bookings are up compared to every other year prior. It's taking another bite out of hotel occupancy, and it's still a really great avenue for those people that want to go in this direction as a potential way of making some revenue. However, a lot of Airbnb, and I travel and we do Airbnb and VRBOs all the time. When we travel, we're always looking for nice places, somebody that has several units and treats this thing like as if it's a true fun vacation rental. It's not just somebody that's renting out their home for a weekend. You go in there and it's a total experience. That's what professional operators of Airbnbs and vacation rentals, that's exactly what they do. So then you have this. This is Nick Gurley. He talks about Airbnb inventory versus home sales. Now, I hate when people place chart lines over other lines. And the aqua color, it just shows you the inventory on a yearly basis. From, you could see 2017 is the first Himalaya that goes up, then it's 2018, and you can see that it's gotten lower and lower, the number of listings that are available, to where we are today, and very few homes, a little over 500,000 homes that are available throughout the United States. And you can see that the number of rentals on Airbnb and VRBO has been increasing over time, where there's just under 1 million. So basically, when you put this chart together, they're trying to say that they took a big bite out of all the homes that are available, and they're all going to lose their shirts. So they're all going to be placing their homes on the market, these vacation rentals, and it's going to flood the market. And now all of a sudden, we're going to have like 2 million homes on the market, which brings me to where the United States inventory has been over time. Right now, we're a little bit over 1 million homes on the market. Now, prior to, right after the Great Recession, there were well over 2 million homes that were on the market. You had, it would peak out right about 2,300,000 right after the Great Recession. And even if we added all million of those homes that are vacation rentals, it would bring us, yes, to a little bit over 2.1 million. And while that might, that sounds ominous, that's not going to happen. We're not going to get a flood of everybody out there, all vacation rentals. They're going to place their homes on the market. That is just some narrative that just simply will not happen. They're not losing their shirts. There are some people that shouldn't be doing Airbnbs and VRBOs and vacation rentals, that type of thing. But those are the people that slowly but surely, there is some churn that they do get out of the market and they place homes on the market. But still, even though we have some of that churn, if we had more of it, you would actually see it in the inventory. We do not see it in the inventory. You can see what's happened over time. This is actually thanks to Dodd-Frank. In 2010, Dodd-Frank came out and made it a lot harder to lend. Actually, tightened lending standards so that we would actually qualify for mortgages, and you just didn't have to fog a mirror to get a loan. You actually have to show that you can make the monthly payment. And as a result of doing that, they tightened things so well that it's created a housing stock that is very strong, where people don't really have to move. Prior to the Great Recession, you did have some people that had to move that would get in a pinch. They had adjustable rate mortgages that would adjust. They couldn't afford the new adjustment, and then they would have to sell their homes. We don't have that anymore. Pretty much we have fixed rate mortgages across the board. And so this is where inventory has gone since after the Great Recession. Slowly but surely, we were migrating lower and lower the number of homes that were on the market. And it wasn't because we were changing them all into vacation rentals. It was because fewer and fewer people found it necessary to place their homes on the market. So as a result, it slowly but surely, we had fewer and fewer homes available on the market. It was slowly but surely being eaten up on an annual basis. So you can see this annual fall in the inventory over time. And in order for the market to crash, we actually need inventory. That is exactly what we had in the Great Recession. I'm circling right prior to the Great Recession. This is like 2006 through 2009. And we had a lot of homes on the market back then. That's called a glut of homes versus where we are today. And where we are today is we have an inventory catastrophe, an inventory crisis. There's just not enough homes available on the market today. And you could see where we were before, 4 million homes. Versus where we are today, a little bit over 1 million homes. And if you look at that difference, how in the world are we going to? Because where we are right now in terms of demand is probably very, very similar to where we were demand-wise during the Great Recession. The difference this time is the low demand is matched up against very, very low inventory. During the Great Recession, we had this low demand, but it was matched up against 4 million homes on the market. That gap is so huge, and we're not going to all of a sudden go from 1 million homes to 4 million homes anytime soon. So I rest assured that we need to answer the inventory issue. I would like to see more homes. Everybody would like to see more homes on the market, but that's simply not what is going on. And that's you could see with the various trends that it's not going to change anytime soon. And you're wondering, so why are they focusing on the fact that we're going to go from 1 million to so many more that we're going to have a crash? Why do they keep on bringing this up when at the end of the day, we have nothing available on the market, a catastrophically low inventory? And this Airbnb bust that everybody's talking about simply just is not going to happen. There for a variety of reasons. They might not be making as much as they were before, and thanks to inflation, it's made it a little bit harder. But it's a little bit less than where they were before. So it's not catastrophically less where it's going to cause everybody to place their vacation rentals on the market. That's just simply not going to happen. But before we go on, I wanted to thank our sponsor. Our sponsor is a reverse mortgage specialist. If you don't know what reverse mortgages are, it's really designed for those people that have white hair that are getting a little bit older. And there is a Senior Financial Group, Inc. that they specialize in reverse mortgages. They are experts in it. Kevin Kaltenbach, he is the Senior Financial Group, Inc. reverse mortgage specialist. You can contact him at 949-910-0932. And, at the end of the day, with the reverse mortgages for purchase loan, you can help your senior homeowners sell their current residence, use the equity to buy their next primary residence in one transaction, and there's no monthly mortgage payment. So you can actually own a home and not have a mortgage payment, and instead it pulls out the equity out of the house. There's a complex way of putting these together, and that's why you have to have an expert like Kevin that can put these things together for you. He's at the Senior Financial Group, Inc. He specializes in reverse mortgages since 2001. He's a 2023 director at Orange County Realtors. This guy has loads of experience, super nice guy. He'll take care of yours or your folks' needs. And you can reach Kevin Kaltenbach at Senior Financial Group, Inc., 949-910-0932. That's 949-910-0932. And thank you again, Kevin, for continuing your sponsorship of the Housing Debrief. So once again, back to this. Yes, we are not going to all of a sudden have a flood of homes, and it's not coming from vacation rentals. The real reason we have a problem with not enough homes on the market isn't the fact that vacation rentals have been slowly but surely increasing over time. That's not what it is. I've talked about it before. It is the fact that people are hunkering down in their homes. It's kind of like this golden handcuffs. Call it whatever you want. We'll stick to golden handcuffs this time. And in California alone, anybody that does not own their home free and clear has a mortgage. 87% of those people that have a mortgage have an interest rate at 5% or lower. 69% have an interest rate at 4% or lower, and 30% have an interest rate at 3% or lower. We have interest rates today at 7.25%. That is why everybody's just happy in their homes. That's why they call them golden handcuffs, because they're happy with their mortgage payment. They might not be in love with their home. They might be in love with their loan. Actually, they are in love with their loan. I've seen it in all of the meetings where I go to. So love with your loan, not your home. Down the road, when things right size and we have interest rates come down, that's where we will see a change. But you can see right now the number of homes coming on the market in 2023 is way off compared to 2022. And you can see the initial COVID lockdown, but right now there are just fewer homes coming on the market compared to where the number of homes coming on the market prior to COVID. This is way, way off. It's off by over 40%, actually 40% for all of 2023, January to August, 79,000 missing for sale signs in Southern California. And in 2022, it was 51,000 missing for sale signs, which was way higher than 2020. And 2021, the COVID years. This all has to do with these higher mortgage rates and homeowners hunkering down, not moving. And you could see it in the available number of homes to show buyers today. The active listing inventory is still really low compared to where we were in 2019. at the top, you can see where 2019 is. It's that Himalaya that's a little bit in the middle, just slightly to the right, prior to it really diving down during COVID. And we are still stuck at very, very low levels, even lower than where we were last year in SoCal. And last year was the orange line. Today we're at 21,381. It went up 2% in the last 2 weeks. We haven't quite peaked. It looks like a peak might be happening now, and it's a little bit delayed compared to where we normally peak, which is actually good because 2024 is not going to have enough homes to start the year off. Last year we were at 30,000 homes at this time, 42% more, and prior to COVID, over 41,000 homes, 2017, 18, and 19. The average was 41,000 homes. It's 93% higher than where we are today. And that is comparing to 2019 numbers, not to 2007, 2008, 2009, where we were at, remember, 4 million homes across the United States versus 1 million today. So we're comparing it to right prior to COVID, which is when things were a lot more normal. And there are just not enough homes on the market compared to back then. We do have very, very low demand. Don't get me wrong. We have low inventory, but I said we have low demand. And this low demand is at 9,666, went down 2% in the last 2 weeks. Last year we were at 12,000, 25% more. And prior to COVID, we were at over 15,000, 59% higher. That's at that purple line where we were last, and that's the average prior 2017, 18, and 19. So we should have a lot more pending sales. We have far fewer. Part of that is a limited number of homes coming on the market. The other part is high interest rates. So yes, we're dealing with very, very low demand readings that go all the way back towards the Great Recession. But once again, we're matching it against very few homes on the market. Not a recipe for any kind of a crash, and homeowners are way too strong. The national delinquency rate is really low. The speed of the market is right now at 66 days. It went up 2 in the last couple of weeks. That's that blue line right there. It was at 75 days last year, and prior to COVID was at 81 days. So we have a housing shortage. We have not enough homes on the market. That will be the only thing that will really fix this market. It would actually, if we had usual number of homes coming on the market, we would actually probably have a buyer's market. But since we don't, it's created this seller's market. Right now, we're going more towards a balanced market. So depending on your market, you might get some areas where you might see values come down a little bit, but there's just, because of the low inventory, there's just not enough pressure for values to come down a lot. Instead, they're kind of stabilized until we get to next spring. And I'm just saying that there are a lot of people that are out there that are talking about how the market's going to crash. There's going to be an Airbnb bust. There is a shadow inventory. There's so many different things that people are saying. I'm just asking everybody to please ignore these people because they've said it for a super long time. As a matter of fact, I mentioned Robert Kiyosaki. He's been talking about a crash. You could see this is a YouTube video that was a couple of years ago, and it's been talking about the biggest crash in world history that was supposed to take place. So he's been talking about it for a while, as are a lot of people on YouTube. You just have to be careful who you are actually listening to. What has their track record been like? So, hey, thank you for sitting and watching another housing debrief. If you want a copy of this, you need to be a subscriber. Go to Reports on Housing and subscribe. The most recent one that came out, all markets have this right now, is a modest deceleration. So all Southern California markets, including the Bay Area, have a modest deceleration. And you can utilize the coupon code VACATION for a free month. So go to reportsonhousing.com, subscribe, put in the coupon code VACATION. You will get a free month. And also wanted to remind everybody, we have a podcast. We are actually, I think we're going to be doing our 5th podcast tomorrow, and that one will be launched next week. So wherever you like to listen to your podcast, look for Let's Talk Housing and put in Reports on Housing as well, and this should pop up. Let's Talk Housing. We've done 4. We're working on our 5th. Thank you once again for joining us for yet another housing debrief. I appreciate it. I hope that you have a fantastic finish to your week, and we will see you on the other side.